Good evening. It's Into Darkness Enterprise build log update number 13. We hope this one won't be unlucky. Tonight, real short, real quick, real specialized. We're only working on the shuttlecraft bay doors. I've got some fiber optics strung in here, and this is one bulb that's going to go for the blinking strobe that is here, and there's another one on below, and those have already been trimmed. But I wanted to put in some more along the back. There are 2 on either side here, and then 3 in the center. I know you try to simulate that long light that lights up the name there, but I don't know of any good way of doing that, so I'm just going to run a couple 3 little spots out of the back. Here is what it looks like. Let me do this with one hand here. Here's what it looks like with just a battery, a light on a battery running to it. I need to make the attachments more permanent, but let me turn the overhead light off. Hold on one second. Yeah, something like that. Okay, so those are in place. What I'm going to do is dump some 1 minute epoxy down in here, maybe fill up that area and get them all sealed in, and then let it set up while I go make some dinner. And we're back. Off to a great start. Sorry. I did what I said. I loaded all the fiber optics into the shuttle bay the way I wanted, and then I filled the area up with the 1 minute epoxy, and then I almost immediately regretted doing that because I failed to remember that epoxy, when it's setting up, gets very warm. And having dumped all in that, I noticed that it was starting to get the shuttle bay was getting very warm. I just put my hand on it, and it was getting quite warm. So I blew on it for a while. I won't spare you. I'll spare you the lack of dignity there. But then I also decided to rush it into the kitchen and maybe open the refrigerator freezer door and just kind of gently, let the shuttle bay seal up. Just kind of sit inside and take a look at the frozen fish sticks and all that kind of stuff, because I wanted to temper, pun intended, temper the heating process and cool it down some. Happy to note that no serious damage was done. It didn't get hot enough to melt anything, but it was disconcerting for a while. So the the unexpected side effect of that was the fact that it was getting quite warm. But now I'm ready to trim off they've had plenty of time to set, so I'm going to trim off the fiber optics and wire in the LEDs that go to them now. And I'll be back in a minute. A very interesting point was brought up this morning on one of the posts on my YouTube channel, and I wanted to address it to make sure there was no further confusion on it. The tenant control board, beautiful as it is not the only thing that I'm running on the ship. I'm also running a straight 9-volt system. Just 9 volts to a switch, 9-volt power in with a switch on it. And that is what's running the all of the window lights, all that strip lighting. Part of the reason I wanted to put the impulse lights on the strip instead of on the circuit board was I wanted to use that strip lighting, and it's 9 volts, or it was the way the tenant control board is set up is that light is already pre-resisted, and when I stuck a strip light on the pre-resisted area, it wasn't enough juice to go through it now because it had been resisted too far down, and it wasn't going to run and rather than using 2 red LED bulbs, I decided I wanted to use the strip lighting, so that's why I made that switch. But there is 2 distinct circuits in the ship, and that's why there are also 2 switches on the stand. One switch runs the 9-volt circuit, and the other switch runs the tenant control boards. That's also reflected in the nacelles. The nacelles are this wiring here goes to the tenant control Bassard circuit, but the regular lighting and everything else is that 9-volt. It's just a straight 9-volt feed. And now that I've got the masks back off of it, I can show you how that 9-volt turned out. So give me a second to readjust the camera, and that's what I'll do. Okay, we're back. And this is, again, it's a poor excuse because it's a battery being held wiring straight on the battery. But these will be wired in the near future. But this is, let me see if I can zoom back. Yeah, try to get out of the way of it. Hold on. Turn it. Here is the a nacelle. Now you can see the back of it's very nicely brightly lit. The bottom is got that channel of strip lighting in there. Here are the 4 lights on either side. And I need to tint these blue, but I'll tint them blue from the outside. I'll just take a little bit of clear blue on those. And then here are the lights that go up from up under the hood, both sides. And then here are those 2 little spotlights that will come out and hopefully spill down the pylon in a nice way. But that's the 9-volt part of it, and then of course still underneath the covers here is the tenant control board for the blue spinners. And after I paint the strong backs, because that still needs to be done under the neck area of the main ship, I will go ahead and attach these, or wire these in and attach them. But I wanted to get the Shuttlebay taken care of, and I wanted to get some more of the incidental painting taken care of before I try to slap the nacelles on, because I have a feeling that that's going to be a important make or break type of deal, and I want to have as much other stuff kind of done and out of the way so that while they're setting up, there's a minimum of jostling to the rest of the ship. And it may be a poor excuse, but it's my excuse and I'm sticking to it. Okay, I promised the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I've discovered something that's a bit of a bummer, and I don't know exactly how it happened. But here's this thing. I went in and I took off the masks from these 5 windows underneath. Let me turn the overhead light off so you can see a little bit better what I'm talking about. These overhead lights, there's 2 on the top and 3 on the bottom. Now for some reason, I'm seeing plenty of good light out of the 2 on the top, but I'm only seeing 1 of the 3 at the bottom, any appreciable amount of light coming through them. I know that I know the LED is kind of mushed up right against that center. Sorry, it keeps drifting out of the way. It's kind of mushed up against that center, and I remember, if I go back and look at the video about how it was, why does it keep going out of the way? How that was installed. But I think the telling thing is that when let me look inside. See if I can zoom in to what's going on inside. I think it's possible that when I was injecting some of that the JB weld, that I put so much in that before it set up, it actually seeped down in there. Let me zoom back out. It seeped down in there along that joint, which is this one around the side, and I think it actually went in and closed off that window. It's a bummer. I hate to say there's not anything I can do about it now. Not sure that I would if I could, but it's a little bit disappointing. I wish it hadn't turned out that way, but in the scheme of things, I can really live with it because a lot of the time it's actually going to be under the base here, and unless you crawl up its nether regions with a microscope, you're not going to see it that well. It's going to be outshone by a lot of the other really neat things on this ship, but it's a bummer, and I just wanted you to see that bummer things happen. I wanted you also to see what the Shuttlebay lights look like now that I have trimmed them back to the ship. So let me poke this LED up to the... That's kind of nice. I need to do some darkened painting around the shuttle doors, and on the sides I want to put a bit of a wash in there. I don't know if you can see the side lights that well. Yeah, there you can see the two of them there, two of them on that side, and three of them down. So it's a mixed bag. And soldering iron is heating up now so that I can solder in these two LEDs so that we can make a good go of the lighting in the Shuttlebay. Okay, that's not so bad. That's the Shuttlebay wired in. One LED are going to a fiber optic to here. Nicely distributed around the outside. I've got one more to go, and that is this one that's attached to the circuit, the antenna control board, and that will blink this one and this one. Okay, this is strictly just for placement. I wanted to see what the nacelle would look like in place. It's not wired in, it's not glued, but it is where it would be. Finished what I wanted to get done tonight, which was the Shuttlebay. Everything is wired in and working. I put a little bit of this wonderful liquid tape over the exposed wiring and also over the exposed LED to knock that down. I enjoy using this a lot. It does have a nasty smell, but it will insulate your connections very nicely, especially if you're antsy about any of this being around the aluminum tape. That's what I have a tendency to lather those joints with it. But a good night's work. A little bit short tonight, but better slow and steady than none at all. So till next time, bye.